Good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining us for this week's Thursday with the AARP Wisconsin show. I am Amber Miller, your host. And before we get to our guest today, just as always, a couple reminders. So if you're looking for information about AARP in general, volunteer opportunities, also upcoming events, both virtual and in person, you could go to the website below, which is aarp.org/WI. That'll take you directly to the AARP Wisconsin website. Also, remember, this is an election year coming up in November. So if you're looking for the most up-to-date information, there is something that you could do related to AARP. There's two things you can do. One is that you can text WI votes to 22777. Otherwise, visit the aarp.org/WI votes. This website will give you information about upcoming election dates, polling. If you have any questions related to that, we encourage you to visit either of those. If you do the texting, you will receive a text message back from AARP that you could just click to confirm. But definitely updated daily. So if this is of interest to you, we encourage you once again, you can text WI votes to 22777. Otherwise, visit aarp.org/WI votes for the most up-to-date information on the upcoming election. We are also, of course, looking for volunteers to join our AARP Wisconsin family. So if you are interested and live anywhere in the state of Wisconsin, we might have an opportunity for you, whether it is virtual or in person. So if you're interested in volunteering with AARP, you could go to the website below, which is aarp.org/I want volunteer. So I want to volunteer. It'll give you information about the opportunities and also an application that you can complete. And one of the AARP Wisconsin staff members will get back to you to talk further about the volunteer opportunities in your area. So once again, you could please visit aarp.org/I want to volunteer. If you joined us for last week's show, as I stated, there has been 5 winners this year for the AARP Community Challenge Grant. And in all, AARP received over 3,200 applications for this year's funding. From nonprofits, government entities. And so it was a very competitive process. So in all, 260 applications were chosen out of the 3,200. And it just so happens 5 of those came from the state of Wisconsin. So in all, AARP will be dispersing $3.4 million to 260 grantees to make impact within their local communities. So last week we met 3 of them. Today we're going to meet the remaining 2, which both happen to be out of Milwaukee. So I'd love to first introduce you to Casey, and she is with the Department of City Development, Neighborhood Improvement Development Corporation, also known as NIDC, with Milwaukee. So welcome, Casey.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here, and that was such a lovely intro. It's so exciting to see how much impact AARP is making.
It is crazy. It's so great, and to see all the applications that come through, our state is just it's fabulous. So we're excited to have you here. Casey, maybe we'll start off with an easy question. Can you tell us a little bit about the organization that you work for?
Yes. So I am part of NIDC, which is the nonprofit arm of the Department of City Development in the city of Milwaukee. And so our work focuses on housing, loans, neighborhood beautification. There's so much good work and so many opportunities and programs available to City of Milwaukee residents for support in any sort of rehabilitation of their home or improvement. In addition to that, There's the CIP program, the Community Improvement Projects Program, which offers a matching grant up to $4,000 to do neighborhood beautification. That's available for the public on public space. Those projects are really interesting. I was just sharing one of my favorites was a mural that was done, or several murals that were done on the outside of garage doors in an alley. And it really just, obviously livened up that space. It brought residents together. And then the Healing Spaces Initiative is, of course, the project that brought us here today.
Absolutely. And I love what you said about, it really is little things that people could do in their community that just make it so beautiful. And especially even a garage door, you don't think of something like that, but the impact that it can make on the community. And I know, so the next question, and then we'll bring up some of the pictures of maybe how it's going to look. So can you tell us a little bit about the project that was chosen as one of the winners for the AARP Community Challenge Grant?
Yes, so we received funding to support the Healing Spaces Initiative. It's in its second year as a pilot program here at the city. This idea originated really from Alderwoman Coggs and Bader Philanthropies, Frank Cumberbatch, who's on NIDC's board, talking about how to give residents an opportunity to spend time outside, spend time with neighbors, and then also access green space in their neighborhood, right? So coming out of long-term isolation, quarantining, so many of those unknowns, what we were really trying to do is give people a space on their block where they could enjoy greenery, where they could relax, read a book, whatever they want to do with that space. So out of that kind of idea came the Healing Spaces Initiative, where we repurpose vacant lots alongside residents into places of rest and relaxation. So what you have here is Meditation Meadow. This was an application that was put in by All People's Church. All People's Church does a lot of community outreach engagement. They serve a number of people at their food pantry, where a lot of it is grown right on site. And then they had a lot next to their property that was not being used, but there was a lot of use for something like that. So what happens is the NIDC, alongside our partner, Groundwork Milwaukee, and True School, who worked with us in 2021 when this was created, came together with All People's Church and residents, and we hosted a visioning session. So one thing that really drives my work and the work in NIDC and the city at large, especially within DCD, is resident engagement and resident empowerment. So the purpose of this visioning session was to bring residents who live right there on that block and offer them the opportunity to tell us what they want, so that we could create a space that was to be utilized by them in the way that they wanted to. And so out of that, we have Meditation Meadow. There's an ADA accessible path, a beautiful shade sail. Each has a little free library. And there's these really wonderful benches that were created by Groundwork Milwaukee as well. The next photo you have is at Adams Park. So this is right on 2nd and Vienna. And that will be completed this year, which is very exciting. But this is at one of our volunteer build days. So again, another way that we wanted to bring residents into the fold and allow them to have ownership of the space was asking for their assistance in creating the space. So here we planted flowers, did some digging, and really got ready for some of the larger work that will be done this year to complete this space. And when you're out there working, I think the best thing for me was that residents would be like, what are you guys doing here? And be like, it was an opportunity for us to bring residents into this project, but then also to connect them to the city and to the resources that the entire city of Milwaukee offers, right? There's sometimes a disconnect between the resources available and how to get that to folks. And so this was one opportunity to do that.
And and if you want to talk about this picture, Casey.
I would love to. This is Tranquility on the Trail. It's on Townsend and Holton. And it's just a little bit more in from the, one of the the beginnings of the trailheads. And of course, we've got that ADA accessible path and benches. There are now flowers in those benches on either side. And there was a mural that was done several years prior, and we were able to spruce up the mural, do a lot of weeding, etc. And then, residents can utilize this space and have a seat as they go through the bike trail. This is right on the Beer Line Trail. The partner here was Riverworks Development Corporation.
And Casey, how many healing gardens are there right now in Milwaukee?
Yeah, so there's 8 right now, and then there will be 5 more completed this summer. So we're just approved or getting towards the approval process in one of those. It was a really exciting day for our team, and all of those, we're everyone is our audience, right? But I think this year it's been so important to us to encourage folks who are 50 plus to come and be a part of that. And so having, those visioning sessions right on the block has allowed people just to walk out their door and be there. I've walked folks, hand in hand to the door and back to make sure that they're safe and it's easy to get there. And out of that comes these beautiful spaces.
And Casey, where will the healing garden be located with the funds that were awarded to you by AARP?
Yes, so there's 5 new spaces. 2 will be in Harambe. There's 1 in Borchert Field, 1 in Roosevelt Grove, and 1 in Metcalf Park. And so I don't have those exact locations, unfortunately, but they are on our website. And there's a link there to get involved to volunteer as well. But we will be in 4 new neighborhoods, which makes us feel really, really good.
And I love the whole concept of the healing gardens and activating maybe a space that isn't traditionally used. It could be, empty lot with some green space. What has been some of the feedback that you've received from some of the residents about having this, a healing space in their neighborhood?
Yeah, so often vacant lots represent loss to our communities, to the neighborhood. It represents folks who used to live there who no longer do, right? And so it becomes sometimes a place of sadness and often a place of blight, right? There's illegal dumping, people aren't using it correctly. And so in order to kind of get around that, right? So like one of the best case scenarios is going to be a house on that lot, right? Residents living in that neighborhood. But in the meantime, like what stopgaps can we provide for residents to continue that neighborhood culture, to bring residents together? One of those solutions is a healing space.
It's absolutely beautiful. And I feel like the space obviously, not just beautifies the neighborhood, but also brings the neighborhood together, whether you're 8 years old or 80 years old. This is, a place that people can come and meet and sit and think. And so I absolutely love the idea. And Casey, I think we did put it in the notes below the website. So if you're interested in learning more, if you're in Milwaukee and learning more about the healing gardens, or maybe even getting involved in one of the healing gardens, we did post the link to the website below. And then Casey, we will bring you back in just a few minutes and we'll be taking questions. So thank you so much. If you do have a question for any of our guests today, we do encourage you to post them below, whether you're on Facebook.com or YouTube, and we'll get to them shortly. So we'd love to introduce, this would be our 5th winner and also the 2nd one from Milwaukee. So I'd love to invite Chrissy from Milwaukee Turners to the show. Hi, Chrissy.
Hi, thank you so much for having us. I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely. So Chrissy, can you tell our viewers a little bit about what is Milwaukee Turners, a little bit about the organization?
Oh boy, how much time do you have?
You do a lot. Yeah.
The Milwaukee Turners, the reason I say that is because the Milwaukee Turners are actually the oldest civic organization in Milwaukee. So we have been around since 1853. So there's a lot of rich history of civic engagement there that I can't possibly cover in this amount of time, but some cool stuff. Milwaukee Turners were among early abolitionists, early proponents of women's voting rights, early proponents of the 8-hour workday. So really a lot of stuff that aligned with the progressive movement, especially in Milwaukee. Milwaukee Turners have had their hands and maybe fists in. Fast forwarding to today, we are located at Turner Hall across from the Fiserv. So we're right in the heart of downtown. We're a national, city, and county historic landmark, which is really fun. And today we host programs for our community. So we support mutual aid drives, blood drives, diaper drives, and other community resource events. We also host forums. We have the Vel Phillips Forum, named after civil rights icon Vel Phillips, with the permission and blessing of her son, Michael, about just all sorts of issues that are important to Milwaukeeans. We'd love to have you as a guest sometime if you're interested as well.
Yes, would love to. And Chrissy, I know Milwaukee Turners does such amazing things, and the project that was chosen, obviously, and awarded to you stems from some of the other work that you have done. And I should mention to our viewers that the grantees do have to complete their project by the end of November. These are considered quick action grants, but of course we know life happens, and sometimes in Wisconsin we get that cold weather, which dampers a couple things. But so we don't have pictures, of course, of the projects now. That's why we're encouraging people to, of course, visit our guest website. But Chrissy, can you tell us a little bit about the project that was chosen for the AARP Community Challenge Grant?
Absolutely. So this is a really exciting thing because thanks to AARP funding, we're able to do something that's a little bit new to us, or that stems from a program that we already have been hosting for 6 years. So this is a series of community neighborhood walks. We're hosting 3 for the quick action grant. They're going to be in 3 different.
We do have pictures, so we'll make sure to bring those up. I'm sorry, Chrissy, go ahead.
Okay, awesome, no problem. And so they're going to be in 3 different neighborhoods around the city. And so these are walks targeted towards older adults, but of course their families and other community members are welcome. So walks really celebrating and exploring the neighborhood, but that are at a pace and distance that's accessible to folks, culminating in cooking demonstrations in each neighborhood, using ingredients that are culturally relevant and available in the neighborhood for just a healthy, simple meal that can be reproduced by the folks that are on the walks, so that they can leave the walk feeling like, wow, not only was that tasty, but I think I could make something like that at home.
And we know, of course, with the high prices of food, I think being innovative and creative to make those dishes, I love that idea. And Chrissy, could you talk a little bit about these pictures? I know this is with a kind of another initiative that you guys do, but if you want to talk about those.
Yeah, I would love to. So these are actually photos from Jane's Walk. And Jane's Walk is an international movement. It's in 200 plus cities worldwide. But Jane's Walk Milwaukee has existed for 6 years, and it's always been a program of the Milwaukee Turners. It's a series of neighborhood walks, bikes, paddles, rolls, that usually take place in the month of May, although this year we did it in June, in the spirit of Jane Jacobs, who was an activist and urbanist, super famous in New York City, for emphasizing the concepts that I think we maybe take for granted nowadays, or are more folded into our city and urban development work. But a lot of those concepts really originated with Jane Jacobs, such as making neighborhoods for all ages, intergenerational neighborhoods, whole neighborhoods, walkable neighborhoods. So these are some photos from Jane's Walks from years past, where people just really get the chance to not only show off what's wonderful about their neighborhood, but also explore new neighborhoods as well. So that is part of what we are hoping to do with this AARP grant, as well as we've added the component of hoping to integrate cooking and everybody's shared love of food. Our culinary demonstrator is actually somebody who competed on MasterChef.
Wow.
So the food is going to be, he really knows how to do something special with simple ingredients. So we're really excited about that, and we'll put more information up about that when it's
Please
available.
do, because I was just watching that show last night. But I think I might know who it is. But Chrissy, if how do you feel like this project, and it's similar to Casey's project, how do you feel like it would really benefit, the community and specifically the 50 plus population?
Yeah. So what we've seen from Jane's Walk is that these walks, like having a specific time and place and, advertising to not only our 600 person membership, but to our community partners and folks in the broader community, just having that opportunity to really bring folks together for a shared experience has really been very rewarding, not only for us, but for the folks that have gone on these Jane's Walk tours, and hopefully the folks that go on our neighborhood walk tours as well. And at the Milwaukee Turners, we actually, in the office, we like cook and eat collectively. So that was a part of the inspiration for adding this component to the idea of the neighborhood walks, because I think there's a lot that can be learned within and between cultures and communities when it comes to sharing our food and our cooking practices.
And that intergenerational piece with both of these projects, I think you'll notice. I think there will be people of all ages and learning from one another. And of course, food does definitely bring people together. Chrissy, if people want to find more information or to get involved, what website could they go to?
So they can visit MilwaukeeTurners.org, or we also have MilwaukeeTurners.org/community challenge, which is specific to this grant. So they can follow that page to see the dates for the walks if they want to sign up and join us for a walk, or to volunteer for that or any of our other community events.
Beautiful. Thank you, Chrissy. And we're going to bring Casey back up. There is a question that I think that's coming from one of our viewers. I'm going to alter it maybe a little bit because I think this actually could go for both of you. But Chrissy, we'll start with you. Do you find that the walks help address some of the social isolation that often impacts older folks?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. And I would say absolutely, especially, as we're emerging from and still in these public health situations with COVID-19 and in other situations. There's been a lot of isolation, I think, for all of us, but especially for older adults, and maybe not having access to the rest of their families if children are in school, and that might be potentially too dangerous of a situation. So being able to do our walks outside has been really powerful. Even Jane's Walk in June, we had a lot of folks join us that said that was the first event that they had gone to in a really long time. So that was really wonderful. And we even had folks that brought their grandchildren and got to see their grandchildren for the first time in a really long time. So we're hoping to see a lot more of that. And I think that's a really good point about social isolation and what are some creative ways that we can start bringing community back together.
Absolutely. And Casey, I'll ask the same question to you. How do you feel like the healing gardens can help with the isolation? Of course, isolation was an issue even before COVID, but how do you feel like it'll help isolation?
Yeah, so for the Healing Spaces Initiative, I'll say that moving away or trying to solve some of this isolation was really written into the budget amendment that supported this program, right? It's been one of our guiding lights. And I think even Chrissy, as you were talking, I was like, oh, both of our programs are really trying to encourage, neighborhood effervescence and kind of that community coming together in a way that sometimes we just don't have in the society that we live in, whatever. And so allowing residents to meet each other and and have a purpose for being there, right? You just need an excuse to say hello to your neighbor at this point, right? We just need some event, something that gets that ball rolling. And I think that's been the best part about this for me is, knowing that these residents know each other because of the work that they've done on the city lot. neighborhood cohesion was the word that I was looking for.
Oh yeah, no, and it's needed because not everybody knows their neighbors. It's very interesting. Ladies, I just want to say, from everybody, congratulations again. It's super competitive, and we're looking forward, of course, to being involved with your projects and seeing the end. Of course, we'd love to bring you back in a couple months with. Now, this is kind of the aftermath of all your hard work. And just as a friendly reminder, if you're viewing this, the websites for Milwaukee Turners and the NIDC City of Milwaukee are both below. So please make sure to check that out. But I want to thank you, ladies, so much for being here, and congratulations again.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Absolutely. And of course, as a friendly reminder, we'd love to provide you information on upcoming events that might be of interest to you. So this Saturday in Milwaukee is our launch of Walk with a Doc, MKE. We will be there. I will be there along with some of our AARP volunteers. It is a doctor-led walk, and it's all about health and just getting out there, getting your steps in. The walk is not very long, but once again, I think, bringing the community together, meeting new people. There will be a food truck there. And also the first 50 people who register and show will receive a free gift. So love to see you there. Also Friday, September 2nd, if you're up in the La Crosse area, Art at 50 Plus, it's the open house. So if you're in that area, the River City Gallery would be at 4 p.m. Wednesday, September 7th, Tech Talk, discover the safety benefits of the latest car technology. So if you have a fancy new car with all the bells and whistles, this is a great opportunity for you to learn how to use them. Thursday, this is a virtual seminar, September 8th at 6 p.m. Supercharge your job search, networking, and interview skills. And then lastly, there is a Movies for Grownups on September 9th, ALSI. And if you're interested in registering for any of those, you could go to the website or call the phone number below. Small dollar, big impact. So listening to Chrissy and Casey about the impact that you could make in your neighborhood, if you're thinking, hey, maybe there's something I could do in my neighborhood. And if you're a nonprofit, government, municipality, or similar, you can actually apply for AARP Wisconsin Small Dollar Big Impact, which is a monthly grant awarded of up to $1,000 to make an impact in your community. Maybe out of the box idea, something innovative, something cool. We would love for you to apply the next round of funding. The application is Tuesday, September 20th. You can go to aarp.org/WISDBI, which stands for Small Dollar Big Impact. For next week's show, it's September 1st already. So we're going to be talking about the new disaster resilience toolkit that came out from AARP Livable Communities. So we're going to walk you through the booklet. You're going to hear from the AARP Livable Communities team. So we'd love for you to come back here next Thursday, September 1st at noon. I want to thank so much for our guest today. I want to thank you for being here today. Of course, we'd love for you to share this video on your Facebook or YouTube page or pass it along to your friends or family. But until next Thursday, we hope that you have a great week and be safe.